Qantas Chief Executive Alan Joyce announced his shock exit from the airline this morning. After 15 years in the top job and 23 years at the airline, he's stepping down 2 months earlier than planned and will hand over the reins to Vanessa Hudson. In a statement, Mr Joyce said, "In the last few weeks, the focus on Qantas and events of the past make it clear to me that the company needs to move ahead with its renewal as a priority." Qantas Chairman Richard Goyder has been under pressure to bring Mr Joyce's retirement forward after a series of scandals at Qantas over the past few weeks. Mr Goyder said, "This transition comes at what is obviously a challenging time for Qantas and its people. We have an important job to do in restoring the public's confidence in the kind of company we are. And that's what the board is focused on and what the management under Vanessa's leadership will do." Vanessa Hudson starts as CEO tomorrow. She spoke to Qantas employees in a video message earlier today.
And right now, it feels like we're facing another challenging time. We know that post-COVID, we haven't always delivered to what our customers expect, but we are listening and we hear what they are saying. As a company, our job is to get the balance right between looking after our customers, you, our people, and the business itself.
Joining me now is Adam Dawes from Shaw and Partners. Adam, thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Bit of a shock exit, would you say, from Alan Joyce today? Do you think his position kind of became a bit untenable?
Yeah, definitely. And was he pushed or was it something that he wanted to do? And I think that's something that's going to come out later on. I think definitely the board was in favour of him leaving early because they talked about now how they need to be more customer-centric. Well, Qantas has always been customer-centric, but again, I think that reputation has definitely been hurt over post-COVID and the way they keep cancelling flights and all the other stuff that's been going on.
Let's have a look at the daily share price reaction because I think Qantas shares did bounce around a little bit today. You can see only down by 1 cent. But when we look at it over the past month here, you can really see the pressure Qantas has been under. So that really shows the tough market environment they've been in recently.
Yeah, it has definitely been trading in a sideways motion or a sort of a channel that's been moving up and down. But of late, the last coming couple of days/month, it has definitely been a lot of pressure to the downside, but a little bit flat today, which is great for shareholders.
ACCC, they did launch court action last week over so-called ghost flights where Qantas charged customers tickets to flights that had already been cancelled. Do you think that might have been the tipping point where Alan Joyce said, OK, and the board said, OK, maybe I need to step down?
Well, customer-centric, and that's not customer-centric, is it, really? You know, booking flights, 8,000 flights that were booked over a period of a month or 2 months where those flights were already cancelled. I mean, that's not great business, as well as it's not fantastic. And then the ACCC coming on with a fine. Now, we don't know how much that's going to be, but it could be up to $250 million.
Massive, which would be a record.
And it needs to be a record so that other companies don't continue to do that kind of practice going forward.
Yeah, Richard Goyder, Labor Senator Tony Sheldon, he's called on Chairman Richard Goyder to resign. Today, Goyder has said to the Australian newspaper he's not stepping down.
Yeah.
How much pressure now is the chairman of Qantas under here?
Well, he's under a lot of pressure. But remember, Richard took Coles when he was head of Wesfarmers, which was when they took it over. It was in disarray, and he is very, very good at taking businesses from disarray to bringing them forward. Now, Qantas at the moment, there's a leadership, there's issues internally. This business is in disarray at the moment, and Vanessa Hudson's got a horrible job, a big job ahead of her. But Richard, I think, overall is the right man for the job. I think he's very, very good. He did back Alan Joyce a lot, so that's probably why he's getting a little bit of backlash from a lot of investors and the politicians. But no, I think he's the right man for the job, and I think he's probably one of the only people in Australia that will be able to turn this business around going forward.
One of the big questions is what happens to Alan Joyce's long-term incentive plans and executive bonuses. That's obviously up to Goyder and the board.
Yes.
Do you think there's now going to be a lot of public scrutiny on that decision?
Definitely. So Richard has always said that he would pay Alan Joyce out his full bonuses, all of the shares, those kinds of things. That could be up to sort of $16 to sort of $20 million worth of bonuses and shares that would be coming out. Now, that's a lot of money. As a business, Alan Joyce has turned this business around in his 15 years. He really has turned it around. And as a shareholder, you'd be very, very happy with the dividends returning to profitability and doing very well. But as a customer, I think that's where they've really suffered. So he probably won't get all of it. I think that there will be some kind of paring back. That's a lot of money not to get. And remember, he did sell about $17 million
Pretty recently,
worth
actually,
in June this year. And that was pretty much the start of this, what's going on. He went and bought an apartment and, he's preparing for his lovely retirement.
Well, the new Chief Executive, Vanessa Hudson, starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do you think number one job is winning back customer trust?
It has to be. That's the only thing that it will be. That it has to be customer centric. But remember, she's got a very tough job. They have to replace 300 planes over the next 2 to 3 years. Their capex for the last 5 years was $7 billion. Capex projected for the next 2 to 3 years is $15 billion. That's a huge drain on the balance sheet, huge drain. So the dividends won't be there as much, and there's going to be some issues. So customer-centric, yes, but also making sure the business is running properly.
The other aviation issue has been Qatar Airways not being allowed to expand in Australia. If they were offered additional flights, we've heard from Virgin CEO Jane Herdlicker, Rex Airlines Deputy Chair John Sharp, they want the government to reverse the decision.
Yeah.
They say it'll make airfares cheaper. Do you think that's true?
Competition means that prices come down because they have to be competitive. And if there's no competition, flights you can charge what you want. So yes, with more competition coming in means that air flights will come down. And we saw Alan Joyce through the Parliamentary Senate, very hubris, very not apologetic. And I think that's also what's really angered a lot of politicians as well, because cost of living is continuing to go high, and we can't see in the future those air flights going to Europe and stuff. They're not coming back at all.
Adam Dawes, thanks so much for your time.
Great to be here.